Hi, everyone. Welcome to SBR Sports Picks. His name is Jimmy the Bag. My name is Peter Loshak. This is Loshak the Bag Show for Tuesday morning, December 12th. Welcome to the Loshak the Bag Show. We love doing this show for you every day. Yesterday was a really kind of a weird day with the results. A good day overall. Jimmy the Bag, nice job. You had a nice positive day there, including a particularly positive day in NBA.
Yeah,
very nice.
Climbing back.
We also, we own our losses here, so we can pat ourselves on the back when we nail something. We did nail that Monday Night Football game, Jim. Didn't we?
Certainly did. Our numbers are looking very good in the NFL.
Very good in the NFL, absolutely. A lot of debate yesterday about the Miami Pats game, and people who like the Pats, this is a good argument can be made for that, and of course the total was kind of close, but I gave the Miami plus the points yesterday. Wasn't expecting an outright win. I thought just maybe a little bit of value as a double-digit dog, and of course Jimmy and I both had the under, so we cashed on that one. And then the yesterday. I just need to get it out and vent a little bit.
Sure.
My picking yesterday, we talk about this all the time, right? About how your handicapping is part of the deal, then bet sizing is part of the deal, and then how you actually make your bets is another part of the deal, right? My handicapping was fine yesterday, but the picks I actually made were terrible. Thanks so much. Thank you very much. I started to fuck around with those reverse puck lines, and Colorado won outright, but I took them on the reverse puck line, so I take a push on that one. And then I took 3 first period overs, which I then looked back at some of my numbers. I was like, wow, those were terrible picks. Some picks you lose, and you can look back on them and say, they were okay picks. I'm not ashamed about them. The 3 first period overs that I gave yesterday were terrible picks, and I'm definitely ashamed about it. And I'm sorry for anyone who tailed those picks. Horrible picks.
They're tricky first period games, and in all those games they were all going under, so it was a tricky spot.
No, it's a time of year where you should not be taking overs like that, and I recognized that afterwards, and I just felt really stupid about it. And then again, I took back 2 other plays in the Bulls game, which would have been winners. So overall, I had a slight losing day yesterday. Sorry, I'm just doing a little bit of communal therapy here to get over my losing day. So my handicapping was fine, but I took back 2 plays in the NBA that were both winners through 3 first period overs that were all bad plays, all losers. And then I gave a bunch of reverse puck lines on big underdogs on the -1 lines that wound up pushing instead of cashing. So I should have had a nice winning day yesterday, but because of the actual bets that I selected based on my handicapping, I wound up with a small losing day.
Well, I can't even remember the last time that you had a small losing day on this show. You really have been so hot. So if this tightens up our screws a little bit and gets us sharper today, because I've got a lot of games that I like, and I'm hoping that we're on the same page, because I've noticed when and you did take me out on our one-on-one.
Yeah.
Clippers looked really good.
That's what I'm saying. My handicap, that's what I'm saying. I keep talking about this. There's 3 main elements. Your handicapping obviously is one, and that involves a bunch of other sub-elements, like research numbers, blah, blah, blah. Then your bet size, obviously a cornerstone of everything, and then the actual way that you bet the games, the way you bet your analysis. And I really flubbed that one yesterday. Although once again, when you take these big underdog lines, you're begging for volatility, you're begging for close calls, right? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and your Avalanche call, when I was watching that game, and when I was watching, I was like, God, that's such a good move.
At the line, it was a good line. At plus 130, it would have been a terrible pick, but at plus 190 or whatever. But then I took the reverse puck line. All right, but then again, Jim, nice winning day for you, clawing back in the NBA. So hopefully we can continue and have a winning week. And then again, overall, with all of the bad crap that I made yesterday, still overall 7-7 minus less than 1 unit, minus 0.8 units. That's fine, right?
That's just fine. Yeah.
And Texas Southern, let's high five it, right?
If
we're gonna self-flagellate ourselves for our bad picks and our losers, let's high five the Texas Southern pick. And Jim, yesterday you were 6-5 plus 1.5 units on the day.
Yeah, it was too bad because the Ducks were up 3-1 for the whole third period, and that really hurt. And I wasn't able to get the -1.5 line on Bet365, so I had to get them at -110.
Well, Bet365 probably does have reverse puck lines, though.
Oh, they have reverse puck lines, but I wanted you're right. I could have gone on a reverse puck line, but I stuck with the -110 there, and so I was an okay night. My first 3 picks that I established in the morning show with you all hit. It was the picks I made in the afternoon show that brought me back, and but I feel like I'm starting to come back in NBA. I'm not going to get comfortable with that. I'm now in a vulnerable spot in NHL. I'm down about 4 units, so
So the point is, no matter where you are, plus or minus, or even at home with your bankrolls at home, whether you're up or down or even, never get comfortable, because the moment you get comfortable, you know what happens next.
You start losing.
Major losing, yes, Jim. And let's just wrap up this final segment of self-reflection with a comment from the evening show on YouTube yesterday from D-Lo PSR TV. His comment, I think, pretty much sums it up. Don't ever wear that hat again, Loshak. It tainted your picks yesterday. Horrible call on the Houston-New Orleans under. Yes, absolutely. And for those who remember, I didn't have my Yankees hat yesterday. I wore my U Wager hat, and I had it on backwards. I did look like a killer, but it clearly tainted my picks, and just was a disaster of a day overall. What's so funny?
There's some wonderful stuff here.
Wonderful stuff here. All right,
wonderful.
I'll save it.
Eric Swiatek says, Loshak, my wife walked into the room and asked, is that what that guy really looks like?
Okay. Eric Swiatek, if you wouldn't mind asking your wife if she has a friend to send down to Costa Rica for me, I would really appreciate that.
King Rail, and I hope this is wonderful if it's true. It's a magical thing if it is. King Rail says, wife gave birth to second child this morning, tried to name him Loshak.
Now, this is some funny shit, and now I have my second computer here, so I'm just going to save this shit here. Those are some funny gas comments there.
Yeah,
Jim
dude.
just read 2 of them. I didn't even see them because I'm sitting here stewing over my. It's just, again, it's not even so much that I had a bad day. It's just like, again, if you make picks that you're fine with, that you like for instance, if the Pats had won easily and that game had gone over, I would have been okay with it. It's just the annoyingness of knowing that I should have been a little bit more on the ball, and then I would have had a winning day, right?
Well, it's funny. I was watching the Bulls Celtics game, and it was clear that this Bulls team is starting to be strong defensively. Yes. And we will find value with them moving forward. And you know, I like the Hawks covering a double-digit spread against the Cavs, because and hopefully we'll get into that soon. Yes. So I don't want to lead into it. But I mean, we're starting. It's about time where we can find some of these bad teams that are improving, and we can find value with them.
Absolutely. And on the other hand, I did almost get a middle on that on the total in the Bulls game. All right, Let's go. Let's move on. Let's get to the NBA. We got a big card today. Let's see. And of course, once again, Jim and I are both doing very well in college basketball. We got a healthier college basketball card tonight, so maybe it'll be one of those days where I can find a bunch of plays. Let's move on to NBA right now. Let's throw up the NBA record. Let's see where we are. I don't even know where we are. Okay, there we go. I'm up 4.5 units on the year, and Jim is down 5.5 units on the year. But a few days ago, he was down about 11 units, right? So nice job, Jim, clawing back. Don't get comfortable, as we know. And I'm up 4.5 units, which is fine. And even taking back those 2 plays yesterday, I did come out positive in the NBA yesterday. All right, let's look at what we got here on today's card. Kind of a tricky card, I guess. Well, let's start with you, Jim. You said there's a bunch of stuff that you're liking, and tell us what you're liking here, Jim.
Well, first off, I know I've kind of hinted at the Hawks play, but I'm going to double up on the Detroit Pistons this evening, first half and full game. The line has actually is now more in my favor than it was when I woke up this morning. Pistons have lost 6 straight, with 4 of those coming by 5 points or less. They've had a really tough stretch. 9 of 11 games were on the road, and the only 2 games at home were against Golden State and Boston. In Sunday's loss to the Celtics, Reggie Jackson went 0 for 9. For 2 points. He watched from the bench while Ish Smith took over to finish the game. He will bounce back tonight, and Drummond will eat up Plumlee and Fareed. Nuggets have gone 2 and 3 without both Jokic and Millsap in the lineup. Canadian Trey Lyles has stepped up for the Nugs on Sunday in their 126-116 OT loss to the Pacers. He went off for 25 points on 5 for 7 threes, but he's not playing big boy minutes in the paint. And I think that will affect his playing time moving forward. Mason Plumlee is starting, but Kenneth Fareed has been playing well, grabbing boards, playing with energy. All this said, I think Jackson has a big bounce-back game, and I think the Pistons take out all their anger on this Nuggets team missing their best 2 players.
Okay, and you were just talking about Detroit, right?
Yes.
Oh, yes. I was actually the one bet that I was looking for. I'm all confused right now because I got 2 computers here. I forgot to bring in my pad. So I was definitely thinking about Detroit on the first half on the full game. I did make a pick when it was at 7, and now it's down to about 6.5 or 6. That's a little bit concerning. What picks you on here, Jim?
I want both the first half and the full game.
Okay, best line for the full game would be Detroit -6, -105 at bookmakers. So that line is really crashing. Why do you think this line is moving here?
It is concerning, but it's been moving that way for like 4 or 5 hours. So I got up at fucking dawn to get this shit going today. And so it's not crashing in the last half hour or hour. And I've been trying to find out everything out. I've been on every site imaginable to get the information, but and not being able to find it. I still think this is a huge spot for the Pistons at home, and they have to play hard. They have to beat up these guys. Too good to be true says Nuggets look better. Think about this, guys. I just think that Drummond's going to eat these two bigs up for dinner, and that Jackson's going to have a bounce-back game.
Okay, sounds good. The first half line will be -3, -105. -3, -105, Jim, and the full game is, again, -6, -105. The -3, -105 line is at Pinnacle. I was definitely leaning that way myself, and I'm just not sure what's up with the line move in favor of Denver. I was thinking about the first quarter play on Detroit as well.
Yeah, I'm just not in a position in NBA with my record where I can take more than double up on games.
Yeah, I mean, well, you're always in a position. It's just always, you're either going to win big or lose big when you do that, or sometimes you'll get a push. But yeah.
Definitely.
All right, so I was definitely leaning that way. I'm probably going to be on it in the evening show unless I get new information. But I'm going to hold off for now. I'm going to see what happens with these line moves, and I'll revisit it at 6 o'clock Eastern time. Now let's move on. I don't know the Lakers and Knicks game. I just don't have a feel for that one. My notes on that one is pass. The Washington-Brooklyn game, very, very weird, right? Brooklyn has a bunch of new players coming in, and they're coming back from Mexico. Washington, without John Wall, playing pretty well. They've actually covered 5 out of their last 7, but the Nets have also been great ATS recently, so that's a game that confuses me. The Phoenix-Sacramento game, also been very confusing. It was confusing for me when I looked at it. Phoenix has been covering recently, right? Not winning, but out of their last 5 games, 1-4 straight up, 4-1 ATS. So now they're getting 4.5 points against Sacramento, who's also been covering. And the Spurs Dallas game and Philly Minnesota games and the Atlanta Cleveland games, I did not have a chance to look at because there were no overnight lines. So I might wind up giving no official plays in the morning show. I'll definitely have something in the afternoon show in NBA. What else are you liking here from the NBA, Jim?
Well, why don't we start with the Wizards-Nets game? I'm going to take the Nets, but not yet, because it sounds like Wall is going to be playing tonight. As soon as he does play, the line will get even more glorious for me and my Brooklyn Nets. He was a full participant at practice yesterday. Scott Brooks won't commit to anything. Wizards 4-4 without him. 6 of those games coming on the road. So very impressive work they've done without him. They're on their first game of a back-to-back, so we might see Wall tomorrow night in Memphis instead. Bradley Beal's been great in Wall's absence. In that 113-112 loss on Saturday to the Clippers, that was their 5th loss in 6 games this year, decided by 3 points or less. So Beal is not hitting those game-winning buckets that they will need. The Nets will have Jahlil Okafor and Mississauga's Sauce Castillo in the lineup. Neither are expected to play much at all, so I don't think it will be a big deal. Tyler Zeller has taken over the starting spot over Timothy Mozgov 9 games ago. I expect Jahlil Okafor to be Zeller's backup because Mozgov is god-awful. And Kenny Atkinson has done a great job with these Nets, man. I like this team. Dinwiddie at the 1, Crabbe at the 2, Carroll at the 3, Hollis Jefferson at the 4. If Okafor can step up and be big at the 5, the Nets will keep improving, and Okafor has a ton of people to prove wrong.
Yeah.
How disappointing have the careers of Okafor and Nerlens Noel been? I'm going to take the Nets, but I'm going to take them as soon as Wall's announced to be playing, so I can get in a better line. Okay,
very nice. We'll check. Let's see. Right now, the Nets are about 4 or 4.5, so we'll see where that line climbs. It is up to a 3. Very nice analysis, Jim. What else do you like to give as a pick today, Jim? In the
I
NBA?
am taking the Atlanta Hawks and the double digits. I believe I'm getting close. It's 11.5, I believe, right now. Tristan Thompson's coming back, but will not rejoin the starting lineup. Tyrone Lewis said that Channing Frye will remain as a center on the second unit, so it's unclear when Thompson will play. Cavs have won 14 of 15 without him. Kevin Love has caught fire, too, averaging 24.4 points per game in his last 6 games, but he's dealing with some hip pain, is questionable, but is expected to play. Now, Budenholzer sat leading scorer Dennis Schroeder out for the last 8-14 of their 111-107 loss to the Knicks. Budenholzer called it a coaching decision. Schroeder is averaging 20.2 points per game. He scored 27 last time he faced the Cavs. He's a key reason why this team is 7th in the league in assists at 23.2 points a game. Hawks have beaten the Cavs 3 of the last 4 times they've faced. Ersan Ilyasova is a big reason why the Hawks have overcome the Dedmon and Collins injuries. In the back-to-back games Saturday and Sunday, Ilyasova went 16 for 20 from the field, 10 for 11 from 3 for 46 points. I like this double-digit number, and I'm going to jump on it.
Okay. Sorry, I'm just having trouble with my other computer here. Atlanta Hawks plus 11.5. The best line would be line shopping right now, minus 102 here at SBR odds at Pinnacle. Atlanta plus 11.5. Atlanta plus 11.5. Minus 102. Very nice, Jim. Very nice breakdown. All right.
So more information is coming in. Dale says Wall playing tomorrow, not tonight. Let me know if that's official, because if that's official, I'll jump on the line immediately right now. So, Dale, if you could let me know that is official locked, I will jump on it immediately.
I mean, with information like that, it can always change last minute.
You're right. And Seriously says Wall coming back. I'll wait and see. Bookie Lover, I took Nets, Hawks, and Lakers, Jim. I'm with you. That makes me feel good. Pistons and Hawks so far, and I will. Planes taking. Oh, this is going to be Steve. So I'm liking the spot I'm in. I found this card kind of tricky, but I like these spots. I've capped every game, so I'm looking forward to talk about them all, but I haven't. Those are my official picks. I find the Sixers at Wolves a very difficult game to figure out.
I did not even have time to look at it. There was no overnight line. Here's a comment from Justin Searcy about why that Denver-Detroit line is crashing. Recency bias is why it's crashing. Of course, Detroit has played a bunch of tough run of teams. And, when I looked at that one, I thought, man, this has Detroit written all over it. Not sure why it's crashing, though, so I agree with that. All right, so, Jim, we have you on Detroit -6, minus 105, Detroit first half -3, minus 105, and Atlanta plus 11.5, minus 102. Again, from the other games, there's nothing that I'm really liking enough as of right now to give a play on. You know what? I will throw on at least the Detroit first half -3 as an official pick, minus 105. And I might wind up throwing on the full game and the first quarter on that one. But for now, I'll definitely throw on first half -3, minus 105. There's no reason not to take it just because the line is spooking me out as of right now. Thought it was a great play when I broke it down. What else would you like to give us, Jim?
Well, I see here that Shane Griffiths is on the 76ers money line. It's a tricky spot. Wolves are 16-11, fourth place in the Western Conference, and yet this early part of the season has to be characterized as a disappointment. They barely beat the Dennis Smith Jr. less Mavs 97-92 at home Monday night. The Wolves' defense, which has been absent all year, seems to be coming around. They're still 26th in defensive rating, but now held their last two opponents under 100 points, 18th in the league, allowing 106.3 points per game. When I look at this Wolves roster, I can't understand why they're not better, and I believe it's just Wiggins isn't doing enough. I thought he was a superstar. He's clearly not, at least not this year, averaging 18.2 points per game, shooting just 31% from three. And when he's not scoring, he's doing nothing else. Averages 4 boards, 1.9 assists. So if he's not putting up big buckets, I mean, it's not good having him out there. Sixers are 1-5 this month, lost 4 straight. They're a beaten-up squad. Embiid has missed 2 straight, questionable tonight. Covington is questionable as well. That's a big loss, and he's having a very good season, 15.3 points, 6.2 boards. McConnell tried to come back from his shoulder contusion, and it didn't work. He played poorly in 18 minutes, now missed 2 more games, expected back tonight. Sixers defense has completely disappeared. They're 14th in defensive rating, 26th in the league, allowing 108.8 points per game. They allowed 131 points to the Pelicans. Most they've allowed all season. They've allowed at least 100 points in each of their last 9 games. It's a tricky spot. I'm definitely staying away from it. If I had a lean, it would be the Wolves at home, but I'm going to wait till the late show and get more information. As
Razan says, game to stay away from. Justin Searcy says, I would say take the over. I think it's going to be a track meet. So it's certainly an interesting game, and the consensus does seem to be probably just stay away. Although Justin Searcy likes the over, and it makes a nice whoa. Denver. Shane Griffiths says 76ers money line, Denver money line. I don't see that one, but maybe Denver money line. What do you think about that?
I'm happy that Reggie Jackson went 0 for 9. We love this spot. All year I've been succeeding when these superstar, he's not a superstar scorer, but when a point producer has a terribly off night, they almost always bounce back, and I believe this is a good spot here. You know what? And this is an exciting card. I mean, Kawhi is going to be back. And I'm such a big fan of him as a basketball player and as a man. If Dennis Smith Jr. was in the lineup, I would take the Mavs here at home. But I just can't do that without Dennis Smith Jr. Spurs went 19-8 without him in the midst of a 4-game winning streak. Danny Green's also probable, but Smith Jr. going to miss his 3rd consecutive game. Mavs are 0-4 without him. 3 of those losses come by 7 points or less, but they went 0-3 on their just completed road trip, had fourth-quarter leads in all 3. They don't have enough closers on this team. They'll be a tough team to back moving forward, to be honest with you. But I like fading a star team when their best player is coming back, but I'm not going to do it here.
Yeah, for sure. And let's see. And we do have that situation also, I believe, going in. There's another game tonight where that is. Oh, right, in NHL. We'll get to that in the next segment. All right, Jim. I'm just going to stick with my one play for now. Detroit on the first half -3, -105. You're on that one and the full game, and you're also on Atlanta +11.5 -102. Any other plays you want to hit us with, Jim?
No, the only other game that we haven't broken down at all is that Suns-Kings game, which is another tricky spot. Yeah. Suns are coming off that 104-101 home loss, but that was a tired, depleted Spurs team.
Yeah.
The Suns were down 19 in the third quarter before mounting this comeback. Now 0-2 without Booker. Both these teams turn the ball over at an alarming rate. Suns are second worst in the league, averaging 16 turnovers a game. Second in the league, averaging 107 or allowing 107.1 points per game. The Kings will likely be getting Willie Cauley-Stein back after missing 3 games, strained lower back. They will need him desperately against these Suns bigs. The Kings were very sloppy in that loss to the Raptors. I mean, just awful. DeAndre Fox, 7 turnovers, 23 minutes. Buddy Hield, 6 turnovers. They opened the game down 17-2. And in their only meeting so far this year was a very high-scoring game. Suns beat the Kings 117-115 October 23rd in Phoenix. But it's a tricky spot.
Yeah, it sure is. Okay.
Oh, shit, they're asking for the Lakers. Sorry, I thought we broke down every game. The Lakers-Knicks we haven't broken down yet, too.
Yeah, so. The Lakers-Knicks game, that is, unfortunately, I mean, I looked at it kind of in depth. The Lakers obviously off of 2 straight-up wins as a dog, right? So they're playing kind of well. And the Knicks, I mean, it's just Enes Kanter, came to the friggin' MSG on crutches. Then he plays, and then he leaves on crutches. I don't even know what to make of that.
Did
Jim.
You hear the story of McDermott driving him home that night?
No.
He drives him home, and McDermott has to get out of the car like it's a senior citizen, pull the crutches out, walk him. I guess they share a place. He walked him to his bed.
I mean, there's a slight chance that that's just for show, and that's let's just pretend that Enes Kanter is crippled, and then he comes in the next day and grabs 10 rebounds. And
but he only played 18 minutes.
I know, but so the point is that game, as of right now, is a complete pass. I'll be interested to see where the line moves. I could see a shot with the over or the under. I mean, it's just going to be a pass for me as of right now, unless I don't know if anyone else has an opinion, but for me, it's just going to be a pass.
Well, El Bicho loves the Knicks, thinks they're fire at home. Hardaway Jr. remains out, so Michael Beasley has looked okay at times, replacing him. He fouled out in 10 minutes last out versus the Hawks. And then after not seeing the floor for 2 previous games, Ron Baker comes in and plays 31 minutes. Looked okay, 9 points, 4 boards, 1 turnover. Lakers are coming off back-to-back road wins, as you said. They were impressive in both Hornets and Sixers. Kuzma continues to play great. Double-doubles in 3 of his last 4 games, 16 points, 6.7 rebounds off the bench this year. In their win over the Hornets, it was the Lakers bench that played the starters. Jordan Clarkson came in and put up 22 points, 6 assists, 5 boards. He put up 14 in the fourth quarter. Luke Walton called it the best quarter he's ever seen Clarkson play. I imagine he's going to keep taking more and more time away from Alonzo Ball, who's shooting 32% from the field, 25% from 3. But it is a tricky spot because the Lakers bench can play really well. They've got a lot of different looks they can throw at you, and they're playing well right now. And the Knicks without Kanter hurt and Hardaway hurt are a questionable team to back.
I mean, but he's even given some minutes though. So it's just a weird NBA card. And except for the Detroit game, which I thought was a great play, except for the line move, which might just be entirely due to money coming in on recency bias. So yeah. All right. So shall we move on, Jim?
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to NHL. Let's move on to NHL. Can you do me one quick favor? You just save the comments for me, right?
Sure.
Because I'm having all kinds of weird issues here with my mouse on these especially want to get the Eric Swiatek comment. Loshak, my wife walked into the room and asked, "Is that what that guy really looks like?" Got to get that comment for sure.
Yeah, we got it.
All right, did you save them all, Jim?
Yeah.
All right, thank you so much. Really appreciate that one. Okay, let's move on to NHL, and let's throw up the NHL record here. I am up after yesterday's debacle, still up about 9.5 units on the year. Jim, you're down 4 units in the NHL. Your average line is up to plus 120, though. You're just taking a whole bunch of underdogs, big underdogs, and inviting Volatility, which I in general, I mean, I don't hate volatility, but I have a strong dislike for volatility. You kind of like it, Jim.
I do
kind of like it.
I do. It's a drug.
Yeah. Me, I don't particularly like it. Okay, let's see what we got in the NHL. The NHL, I saw a few more things that I was liking. Let's see. Obviously, Ottawa and Buffalo is an interesting game, right? Two teams that are having major problems scoring. Buffalo returns from the road trip. Ottawa returns from the West Coast, and maybe it's a game to pass on, but maybe it's a game where you just think, despite the maybe questionable goaltending plan expected here, take a shot with the under. These teams both have problems scoring.
You know, I had to get in early. There was a huge windstorm here in Costa Rica, so I just came to work at 5:30 in the morning instead of working at home. And I overheard the Ice guys talking about how this was, pretty much, low-hanging fruit. Then the one guy got in on it in the morning. And when I look at this game, I see the opposite. I see a giant plus line at 5.5. Now, I mean, when you break this down, Craig Anderson is the only goalie really playing bad here. 7-10-3, 3.11 goals against average, .895 save percentage. He's playing bad. But Robin Leonard's starting to play well. Stopped 35-37 versus the Blues, 48 saves versus the Blackhawks, 42 saves. Sorry, I said the Blues twice. 48 saves versus the Blackhawks, and 42 saves versus the Blues, and then stopped 35 out of 37 against the Avalanche. The Sabres look good on this recent 3-game road trip. Jack Eichel said that should have been a 6-point trip, and it really was his fault. He looked really bad on that Tarasenko overtime goal. He needs to step up. Senators have lost 11-12, been out shut out 3 of their last 4 games. But I'm seeing this giant puck line. We know how easy it actually is for these guys to go over 5.5. So I'm taking the over, and I'm going to continue to do this all year long. And if I hit 48%. I'm going to be making money. So and so far, since I've been saying this out loud, I've only done 2 of them, and I'm 1-1 on them. I'm going to do it again. I'm going to get a huge number on the over. We saw the Senators blow up for 5 goals when they had a recent low-scoring drought. I'm hammering it. Oh, here, Condon is starting, says Ramvel, which he is playing a little better than Anderson. I believe his save percentage is at like 902 or something. But I'm taking the over here. Okay, the best line shopping here. 5 Dimes has 130, but we gave you 127, which is lined at Pinnacle and Bet Online and a bunch of other places. Yeah, I don't necessarily think that's a bad play at all, especially since it might be close. Might be one of these 3-2 games that goes down to the wire, and then you get an empty netter to push it over. I was thinking about a shot with the under and maybe a shot with the first period under, which is surprisingly not that low. It's under 1.5 minus 123 or minus 120 at UWager. So do you think that in general the recent just offensive anemic state that both these teams have shown is a little bit illusory, or do you think it's for real? I think it is illusory. I think that Erik Karlsson, could be the best defenseman in the league. He's obviously he's just not playing well. Matt Duchene would make Team Canada if we had Team Canada going to the Olympics. And he's not scoring at all. I just don't see this continue. Now, maybe they're not that good of a hockey team, but that doesn't mean they're not going to score any goals. Right. Kobe Valentine says, really like the over here as well. I hope he's. I hope he's talking about this game.
Yeah, no. That's what he's talking about. Yeah.
I just think this is a spot where you're getting this giant number, and I don't see how I wouldn't take it. Money Chart says, I will not tail you on the over. Yeah, it's certainly an interesting game. Obviously, both these teams have been getting shut the F out recently, and so it's a little bit tricky to take the over. But as we've seen, as you mentioned many times, even teams that are having problems scoring can easily get over 5.5 when it's a big underdog line, and then you got a nice little positive EV play there. All right, let's see. What else do we have in the NHL? Another game that I was thinking about an under with. Obviously, LA is playing great. LA going into a New Jersey. They've won 8 in a row. Very impressive, and doing it with great defense, great goaltending. New Jersey slumping a bit recently. LA, has been scoring, but their defense has been very strong. And the question is just, is their defense going to be able to have another shutdown game against New Jersey? New Jersey can score. What do you think, Jim? It's a strength against strength, right? They can score, but the Palmieri and Marcus Johansson injury, the top 2 right wingers out of the lineup, does hurt them. When you break down the Kings' stats of recent, they're unbelievable. They've outscored the opposition 29-13 on this 8-game winning streak. They have a plus 29 goal differential, second best in the league. They're 10-3-1 on the road, 14-3 versus the Eastern Conference, 5-0 versus the Metropolitan Division. The league's best defense, allowing just 2.19 goals per game. Kopitar has 9 points in 5 games. And now the Devils are trending down. They lost 3 of 4, outscored 69 over those games. As a testament of how good the Devils have been this year, the losses Saturday and Sunday to the Rangers and Jackets, respectively, marked the first time the Devils lost 2 games in regulation in a row all year. But I think that hole on the right side of their roster hurts. At first, I was leaning towards the home dog and the Devils. And then I kind of left it alone when I broke down how well the Kings are playing.
Yeah, for sure. And let's see. Money Chart says, I have a lean to the Kings. Jen Rummy says Kings has a fair line. Paulo Marquez says Kings win. And then here's some interesting stuff. Let's see. Some other stuff. Comments on the Ottawa game. Lehner looked like he wanted to kill his teammates after the St. Louis loss. He's played well in spots, and the team has been so poor in front of him. Both teams might go off. And here we go. Another guy, Ramvel, says, I am from Ottawa. Lehner plays out of his mind against Ottawa. It is an under game. What do you think about that?
Well, everybody see it's a giant under game, and that's why I'm going against it, because I'm going to get this. I'm going to be rewarded for, and as we know, you can have these situations where they're 2 defensive teams and they still go over 5.5 because it's not that difficult.
Mikey D says, Pete, saving the comments and making your poster is yet another reason you need an intern. Yes, absolutely. We need a fucking intern. My right click, the mouse won't friggin' right click on the other one here, and then this one isn't saving the comment that I really wanted to save. So I'm just frustrated. Can you do one more save for me just for the hell of it?
Sure,
and then mail all that shit to me. Thank you so much, Jimmy the Bag. All right. A bunch of other NHL games are certainly interesting as of right now. I guess I would have a lean to the first period under an Ottawa Buffalo, but I'm gonna hold off on that one. The LA New Jersey game is also a game where maybe a lean to the first period under, and I'm gonna think about that. Then let's see, what else was I thinking about? The Edmonton-Columbus game is obviously very, very interesting. Columbus is on one extra rest day, and Edmonton's been just very, very up and down with their scoring, right? They're either going to win by 1.5 or more goals, or lose by more than 1.5 or more goals. Edmonton's been a little iffy over the last 7 games. It feels like Columbus feels like if Columbus wins, it's probably going to be by a margin, and the puck line might be a good play. What do you think?
Well, I'm taking the Oilers here tonight. I do not understand why the line is this big in the Jackets' favor when they have the worst power play in the league at 9.41. All of their last 6 goals, Panarin has delivered the primary assist. I mean, they're being led by great goaltending in this number 1 line of Panarin, Dubois, and Anderson. That's it. They're 8-3-0 in their last 11. Their veterans aren't doing anything. Tortorella just made Cam Atkinson a healthy scratch on Saturday night. Cam hasn't recorded a point since he signed a 7-year, $41.25 million extension on November 17th. Now, he's saying all the right things. It's a wake-up call. I take full responsibility. I know I need to be better. I will be. But the Oilers just outshot the Leafs 41-23 on Saturday night and lost 1-0. Before that game, they'd scored 19 goals in the last 4 games. They're starting to get production from players not named McDavid. Lucic has 2 goals, 3 assists last 4 games. Hopkins has 3 goals in his last 6. Draisaitl can still do more, but I'm getting a huge number on a team with the worst power play in the league that's getting no production from their veterans. I'm going to take it. Okay, you're going to take Edmonton on the money line, huh? Yeah. All right, Edmonton money line. Best line right now would be plus 165 at Intertops. Intertops, also bookmaker and UWager, offering plus 165. Thank you so much, Intertops, for offering us the best line on the Edmonton money line, which Jim likes. All right, so let me see. So that is your second pick here in NHL, Edmonton money line plus 165, and here's a comment from someone that sort of summarizes my view on this one. Money Chart says, not touching the Edmonton game with a 10-foot pole. That's how I feel about it, Jim, although I certainly hope you cashed. I certainly can understand why you would like Edmonton here as such a huge underdog. In general, with Edmonton games recently, there's been so much volatility there that betting on them or against them, I'd want to be getting an underdog line. So, and I think that's a big one. Yeah. I'm really, right? I'm really
sure
happy
is.
with the size of it.
I mean, I've seen bigger,
Yeah,
but
course,
I mean,
but I mean, I just think I think it's a really nice spot to take them, and I've barely touched them all year.
Yeah,
there's some very exciting games tonight. I think this Leafs Flyers game is going to be very exciting.
And I'm not trying to convince you to take this. I'm just saying it so that we can all take note of it. The Edmonton alternative puck line is plus 409.
Plus 409 sounds great, but
I'm not trying to.
I could see a 2-1 game.
Yes.
I could see a 1-goal game here, and you know I love big numbers.
Yeah.
And plus 165 is big enough for me.
Mm-hmm. Okay, now let's move on to a one game where I think I might be seeing the biggest edges that there might be on this card. Florida against Chicago, right? Chicago obviously is a massive favorite here, as they probably should be. They have won 2 straight games as a huge favorite over bad teams. Florida, I liked them against Detroit, and I could have had a winner with them, except I got greedy, and I took them on the -1 line, so I had to take a push on that one. They're on a back-to-back, right? They beat weak Detroit, and Corey Crawford's return to the lineup seems like it's really, given Chicago a nice little boost, at least against vulnerable teams, which I think Florida probably counts as here. My leans would be to the under, and my leans would be to Chicago -1, and my lean would be to Florida team total under. What do you think about any or all of those, Jim?
Well, I thought a lot about this game, and I'm not going to do anything till they announce that the backup is going to be playing for Florida.
Right.
Because they played last night. But let's start with the Blackhawks first. They've won 2 straight, but they barely squeaked by the Sabres and the Coyotes after losing 5 straight.
Right.
I think that we can make money fading the Blackhawks. And if Reimer is going to go back-to-back, I will fade the Blackhawks. We're more than a quarter through the season, and this team does not look very good. The Blackhawks, though, have the Panthers' number. They've beaten them 6 straight times at home, and they've only allowed 8 goals over that streak. They also took care of them 4-1 November 25th at Sunrise. Patrick Kane didn't have a point in 4 games before the 2 assists he recorded versus Coyotes. As you said about Crawford, looks very, very good. In 2 games since returning from injury, he stopped 57 of 60 shots. And against the Panthers, now I don't care about his record against the Panthers, but he is 3-0-0 with a 0.91 goals against average, 964 save percentage. He's 6-0-2 with a 2.22 goals against average, 932 save percentage since November 15th. Only Arizona has allowed more goals than these Panthers, but that was a big win in overtime over the Red Wings. They're 3-0-1 in their last 4 road games. Trocheck has 3 goals, 5 assists in his last 5 games. Panthers are 3-2-1 on the second half of back-to-backs this year. When I find out what's going on with their goaltending, I'll make a decision on the late show.
What if the backup is in? Would that make you not like the under, or how would you feel about it? Because I'm going to give the under here, Jim.
I would be concerned about the under with the backup in, yes, because Barkov is back and says he's feeling great. I think this Panthers team can score if Trocheck's flying.
Yes, they certainly
Huberdeau
can.
Is scoring.
You don't like Chicago's defense here combined with Crawford?
The problem I've seen with Chicago's defense is they have these 2 absolute elite defenders, and because of their payroll, they can't afford to have anybody else. They had to give Halmerson away to the Coyotes. They have 2 of the best defensemen in the league, and that's it. I think Keith and Seabrook, 2 guys who probably would make Team Canada right now if we were going to the Olympics. But I just can't trust them after that. Okay,
some interesting comments here. Trent Ware loving the Blackhawks puck line tonight, and Money Chart says the system is to play Chicago. I will not play Florida. And then you have Salty Dog 93 saying don't fade the Blackhawks. Not wise. A lot of exclamation points there. Feels pretty strongly about that admonition, Jim.
Well, they've been fucking terrible over the last 7 games. And if I had faded them every night over the last 7 games, I'd be fucking rich.
You'd be an internet billionaire. All right, I'm going to take the under. I'm going to take it for right now. Under 6 -115 is the current line at the Greek. That is the best line market wide. Pinnacle has -120. I guess I'm just a believer right now in Crawford, and I think that they should be able to hold Florida down. You think there could be an explosion here offensively from Florida or Chicago, one of these teams? See, I'm seeing like a 4-zip, 5-zip game heading into the 3rd period, and maybe it just ends there. No chance of an empty net goal.
I don't think the Panthers are going to get stomped on in this game.
No?
No.
Okay. Interesting. Okay, I'll take the under 6 -115 for now, and then let's move on to other games. Let's see what is interesting. All right, well, let's go to the Carolina Vegas game. Marc-Andre Fleury to start for Vegas, right? I think that's official. That's been confirmed.
It's official, yeah.
Right? Carolina on a back-to-back lost another one last night, and that's a friggin' another one where I had to eat a push on that one. I had Anaheim -1. If I just taken him on the money line, would have been another. But that's what you do when you take these puck lines or the -1 lines. And Carolina really, really stalled out on this West Coast trip. The next assignment is at Vegas, and of course we know what Vegas has done, killing it at home. Won 4 in a row now. We're sort of expecting them to regress in a major way at some point, but it hasn't happened over the last 4 games, Jim.
Yeah, they just look very good at home. We've seen. They obviously have some real character guys in the dressing room.
Mm-hmm.
They've stepped up when they need to, and I bet that they, back Marc-Andre Fleury with all of their might. Now, Marc-Andre Fleury, on Thursday night, the Penguins are coming to town.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Will Fleury be looking ahead of that game? Will he be almost using this as a practice? He looked good before the season, before he got hurt. 2.48 goals against average, .925 save percentage. The Canes have been looking good. What's holding them back is this anemic special teams. 28th power play, 29th in penalty killing. They keep losing games barely. Now, I actually was on the Canes this morning. Mm-hmm. And then when I started really taking a closer look, they're on the second half of a back-to-back, 5th game of a 6-game road trip. That concludes Friday. So this is the spot where they're going to be their most tired. It's a tricky game, and I would like to fade on Marc-Andre Fleury here in his first game back.
Exactly. Especially at this price, right?
Definitely. Yeah. But I just not sure if I can do it. I think I'll study it a little longer today.
Yes, absolutely. All right, here's a comment from Israel Williams. Even though we had an up and down day yesterday, fellas, I bet 5 NBA games last night and cashed on all but the New Orleans under. Oh, Jesus Christ. Due to the great advice. All right, Israel Williams, thank you very much. And if you use proper money management, you had a profitable day. If you didn't use proper money management, none of it matters.
And he looked through our family histories. We're brothers.
Yes, that's
We're
right.
Family.
Absolutely.
We're family.
Okay. You guys rock out with your cocks out. Let's keep cashing. Hashtag Loshak in the bag. Thank you so much, Israel Williams. Very happy that you had a winning day yesterday. Use proper money management so that your winning can continue and that the losing doesn't bankrupt you. Okay, excellent. A lot of people saying that they really, really want to take Vegas here. Money Chart says, I so want to play Vegas -1. Price is expensive, though. PB38 says Vegas -1 for days with a Z. That means he's just feeling it. Dean Stevenson likes Vegas -1.5. Ricardo Garza says Vegas Knights 11-2 at home. Yeah, they've been great at home. But I think that might also have a little bit to do with when teams come in and are just have to spend a little bit of time in Vegas. Maybe it takes them off their game. The fact that Carolina's on the back-to-back maybe helps them a little bit in that regard.
Yes, I mean we've been thinking that all year, and some funny tweets have come out about what the road teams are doing in Vegas.
Yes.
Vern Fiddler had
mushrooms.
I don't know about that, but
MDMA.
Well, Vern Fiddler had a very funny tweet. He had a great NHL career, and this is his first year not playing. He had a really funny tweet about what the road teams are doing in Vegas. It's who knows what's going on. But 11-2-0 is.
Well, you can't say the tweet out loud, or it's that risque.
Oh, I just don't have a quote. When it's a funny joke, I don't want to fuck it up.
No, but listen, anytime you go into Vegas, anyone's ever been to Vegas, your mindset does kind of change a little bit. Just as a person hanging out. So certainly as an elite level professional athlete, that could have an effect, And I'm thinking that maybe the fact they're on a back-to-back might minimize that effect here.
That is an excellent point I didn't think of. Maybe on a back-to-back, they'll minimize it. I'm telling you, if this wasn't the 5th game of a 6-game road trip, I'd already be on them.
Mm-hmm. Yes, yeah. Aspirito late, a lot of people say... El Bicho says, what the fuck? Rock out with your cocks out. Wow. And Espiritualate says, my mother just asked, why are you guys talking about cock? I love how moms and wives and girlfriends watch their boyfriends and the men in their lives watching our show. That's just so awesome. I would love to get a video of someone's mom or wife or girlfriend watching our show and seeing what that looks like. It's probably hilarious, right,
It
Jim?
would be funny for sure.
All right. So you're going to pass on this Carolina-Vegas game. What do you think?
At this point.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I'm thinking about it as well. And what do you think about maybe a shot with the under? I mean, I know that I think Cam Ward is supposed to start, right?
I would definitely not take the under in Marc-Andre Fleury's first game back.
Right.
But I mean, sorry, I shouldn't be that judgment. I mean, I just think it's a
pass.
I don't trust Marc-Andre Fleury after not playing for so long.
Right.
This isn't a week or two out. Like Crawford was out for 10 days.
Yeah.
When you get to that month or more, I just don't trust that first game back.
All right, let's talk about a game that it's probably going to pass for me. Another one, Tampa Bay and St. Louis, both teams playing great, right? Tampa Bay dominated 4 games in a row at home. Now they go on the road. St. Louis also won 4 games in a row, so they're playing well. They do have some injuries here. The line is about what you would expect. Actually, a small favorite line for a Tampa Bay. Total right about where you would expect. Maybe a shot with the over. What do you think about this one, Jim? Any lean?
It's a tough game. I mean, we saw these two teams play already, and it was a very tight checking game. It was October 14th in Tampa, 2-1 Lightning victory. They're tied atop the league at 44 points. Now, Justin Schwartz, injury hurts a lot. 14 goals, 21 assists, 35 games. He's a big reason why Braden Shen and Tarasenko are having such monster years, but this is a Blues team with a ton of depth. They've now separated Shen and Tarasenko, so their first line, Sabaka, Stastny, Tarasenko, second line, Steen, Shen, and Yaskin. And Peter Angelo is day-to-day with a leg injury, which is another big thing. If Peter Angelo doesn't play, I might jump on the Lightning here, although they are not the team that on the road as they are at home. At home they're just monsters. And their 4-game winning streak all took place at home. But the Lightning, 36 goal differential, best in the league, first in goals for, 5th goals against, first power play, 8th penalty killing.
Okay, some funny comments here. Some funny comments about my appearance. Some funny comments about Cam Ward. I'll read the Cam Ward ones first. 2 comments came tumbling in on Cam Ward. Both comments in all caps. McGogster 99, all caps. Cam Ward is god awful. Ramvel, all caps. Cam Ward is awful as fuck. ... Oh my God.
Yeah, I mean, he's had a funny career. He's a very believes himself. I don't want to say cocky because I don't know him personally, but he really believes himself. Started out his career with Rookie of the Year, and then just seems to has had a tough time since. And I don't trust him either. But as we've seen, it's difficult to come in once every 5 or 6 games.
Yeah. Aspiratolate said a nice comment. My mom asked me if Peter sells ice cream and drives a white van. Yes, I do. How does she know that? Is it that obvious?
I don't know how she knows that.
How does your mom know that, Aspir? Is it just written all over my face? I guess it is. I don't know. Anyway, okay, so a lot of people are saying that's a 10-foot pole game. Money Chart says Tampa Bay St. Louis has no value, I think, on any side, but great game to watch in my view. That's how you feel, Jim, right?
It's just, I'm going to wait. If Peter Angelo's out, I think I might jump on the Lightning. DJ Big Boss Kai says Vegas is due for a home loss, and that's something I am considering, but I'm going to take more time to consider. But I do have a puck line ready to be thrown out. I do. I have one ready to go.
DJ Big Boss Guy says Vegas is due for a home loss. It would certainly seem that way, or maybe not. Are they just going to continue to be a great bet at home in perpetuity or until further notice? I mean, what do you think?
I don't think so. I went over their stats again. They're third in the league in goals, and then everything else is bad. Their special teams are getting worse game by game. They're allowing a lot of goals. I don't see how it could possibly continue, but yet it still does. So.
All right, so Jim, I just want to make sure I didn't, with all the confusion here, you're on just 2 plays so far, right? The Buffalo over 5.5 plus 127 and Edmonton money line plus 165.
That's right.
And I'm on just 1 play as of right now. The Chicago under 6 minus 115. I guess we can talk about the Toronto Philly game. That's certainly a very, very interesting one. Philly suddenly winning a little bit after a long string of losing, and they're also super rested. Toronto, winning. 1-3 in a row, 5 of 6, holding teams down, kind of lower scoring. What do you think? Do you think that Toronto's winning and good defensive play continues here? Do you think that Philly's is super rested and their recent winning continues here? Or which one do you think, Jim?
I do, and I've been waiting for the money to start coming in on the Leafs, and it hasn't been coming as fast as I thought. I'm expecting the Flyers to be a home dog by our late show, and that's not happening. In fact, the money's been going on Philly. The Leafs are winning these 1-goal games, and that's a sign of a good hockey team. They're 10-2-1 in 1-goal games. Austin Matthews is day-to-day after that collision with Morgan Riley. He missed Sunday's 1-0 win. They're now 5-0-0 when he's out of the lineup, 12-3-1 in their last 16. But I like what the Flyers have done with their offensive shakeup. They're coming up that big 3-game sweep of Western Canada after losing 10 straight. Brian Elliott's now saved 103 out of 108 shots. He's a streaky goaltender. When he gets hot, he can be very hot. He was NHL's 3rd star of the week. The Flyers have changed their offensive attack. They were putting 2 guys in down low before. They're now doing a 1-2-2 attack. and they've separated Voracek and Giroux. So their first line is Simmons, Couturier, and Giroux, and their second line is Raffl, Filppula, and Voracek, and I like it. And Raffl scoring. And I'm expecting money to go on the Leafs. I'm not going to take the Flyers as a home favorite. But if they are, if they're a home dog, I will take them.
Okay. All right. Looking at some other bookie lover Q. Continuing to talk about the Vegas game. Vegas won't lose with Fleury. Okay. Let's see. Freddie Anderson. Money Chart says Freddie Anderson is too hot under team totals on both. That's an interesting take there. What do you think about that?
Well, I mean, are we just looking at that recency situation of the Sunday 1-0 win? I mean, I'm not saying that you're off. I mean, just saying that was a 1-0 game everybody watched on Saturday night.
Austin Matthews out. How do you think that affects things, Jim?
Well, they move Nylander over to center, and they're 5-0-0 when they do that. I don't understand how they're obviously not a better hockey team without him, so I think those numbers will even themselves out. If Matthews is not there and I get a little bit of a better number, I'm going to jump on the Flyers.
Okay, Byron Thompson says, my friends refuse to watch your show. They enjoy losing. #PainFreaks. That's a comment from Byron Thompson. They refuse to watch the show. Maybe we should make a specific message dedicated to Byron Thompson's friends, and you can just sit them down and force them to watch our message, and then maybe that will turn them into somewhat regular viewers, right? What do you think? We can get it. We can convert anyone, I think.
I think so.
To watch this show. All right, Byron Thompson. I don't know why your friends would refuse to watch this show. I'm as baffled as you are, Byron Thompson. All right, yeah, here we go. Let's see. Espirito late. Let's see. Dean Stevenson likes the Maple Leafs over. Ramvel says over is the play. Okay, I could see that one. I'm going to pass on that one. It's definitely a tricky card. Let's move on to the Colorado-Washington game. Jimmy the Bag, Colorado on a back-to-back. Of course, they beat Pittsburgh as an underdog yesterday. I don't think anyone's accusing Colorado of being a quality team right now, but I think we are accusing them at times of being significantly underrated and undervalued, right, Jim? As they were yesterday. Clearly, they should have been a big dog yesterday, but not as big of a dog. Or, I mean, just because they won, maybe they should have been a plus 400 dog, and that was one of the 20% games that they wound up winning. But they've now won 2 in a row, right, as a big underdog. Washington also on a back-to-back coming off the loss. Low-scoring game. Is this a no-brainer, obvious play on Washington here, Jim? I don't know.
I don't think it's a no-brainer play. In fact, haven't made a decision. Now, the big turning point, though, is this Alex Kerfoot injury. I've been the guy talking about how they have no depth whatsoever offensively. And Kerfoot now, 9 goals, 12 assists out of nowhere. This was a 5th-round draft pick. 21 points in 29 games. Come out of nowhere to be a good second-line centerman. He's day-to-day with a foot injury incurred last night versus the Penguins. So if he is out of the lineup, I might take the Caps. But then even at the puck line, I mean, you're just not getting a good enough number. Now, remember, this Caps winning streak all started when the Avalanche smashed the Capitals 6-2 on November 16th. There was that big wake-up call. They've now won 8 of 10 since. They've won 4 in a row, had won 4 in a row before losing 3-1 last night to the Islanders. Capitals are a healthy squad. No TJ Oshie in the lineup, but he's skating and will be back with the team soon. The Avalanche win over the Pens last night was a gutsy victory. Their coach called it a gutsy victory, and it was exactly that.
Money Chart says Washington love them in all caps. And Saeed, where's that guy? Where is that guy? Before we even started talking about this game, Lamia Saeed says Pete loves Caps with a big smile. I don't know if he's making fun of me or if he agrees with me. I kind of do like the Caps here, and I'll tell you what, I am going to take them -1, Jim. I'm taking the Caps -1. Give me your thoughts on that. You think that's a risky play?
No, I don't. And when they announced that Kerfoot is out, I might jump on this with you. DJ Big Boss Kai says, I'm fading all Jimmy the Bag puck line bets till 2018. Let's see what happens. One of us shall drain Lecce. You know what, Big Boss Kai? I bet you lose. And I love you, pal. I'm going to come at you.
We shall see. All right, I'm going to take Washington -1. On the money line part of that, obviously, is a massive favorite, -199 right now at Pinnacle and Bet Online. And the puck line part of that, best line will be +150 at Bookmaker and UWager and a few other places. So a modest favorite line for Washington -1. If it loses, I'll eat it and I will be okay with it, Jim.
Well, I have a puck line for you, DJ Big Boss Kai. I have a puck line right here for you to fade. I'm taking the Minnesota Wild.
Just one quick note. Sure. We do have to stop at 1 o'clock Eastern time. We only got 4 minutes.
Sure.
So, and I do want to at least throw up our record for college basketball before we say we don't have any picks for the day. So let's try to keep it fast. Jimmy the Bag.
Minnesota Wild -1.5. I'm taking them on the puck line. Yes, the Flames Well, they're finally getting some secondary scoring. Sam Bennett scored the game winner against the Canucks, 4th overall pick from 2014. They desperately need scoring that doesn't come from their first line. He didn't register a point for the first 18 games. Now it's 11 points in 12 games. I think that continues. He's a good player. Flames have been much better on the road than they are at home this year. 8-4-1 away from the Saddle Dome. Their special teams are trash. The Wild look good winning the last 2 of 3 in the California road trip. They were both overtime victories, but they're 8-3-2 at home. They have good special teams. Yes, the Jared Spurgeon injury hurts. But I think the Minnesota Wild are going to give us value throughout the season, and I'm going to take them -1.5 to take care of business at home. And Boss Kai, please fade this shit.
Okay, we do have time, though, for one 15-second joke, though, right, Jim?
Sure.
Always time for a joke. Lamia Seed says, at Espirito Leta, beware of Ice Cream Man with a little laughing emoji. How do these people know I sell ice cream?
I don't know.
How did that get out?
Not from me.
I don't know. It's Espirito Late's mom somehow found out. Maybe she's, I don't know. Yeah, I do sell ice cream. Sure. All right, so, Jim, you're on the Minnesota puck line, +228. Jimmy the Bag, +228 is the best line that we can give you right now. So far, let's see. I'm on Washington -1, Chicago under 6, -115, and Jim, you're on the Minnesota puck line, +228, Edmonton money line, +165, and the Buffalo game over 5.5, -127. That's all that you've given so far, right, Jim?
Yep.
Anything else you want to add as of right now in the NHL?
That's everything, but I'm very close to a few more plays that we'll do on the Late Show.
Okay, again, 6 o'clock Eastern time. We will be back handicapping all of this. And, of course, college basketball. Let's quickly move on to the college basketball segment of this show. Now, I have not been able to look at tonight's card at all, but I'm going to. And if recent results, we don't have a recency bias on our own results, Jim, though. But let's throw that record up, because if recent results are any indication, I might have a winner or two up my sleeve on tonight's card. Let's throw up the college basketball record. 88-60 I am, +22.5 units,
Jesus,
+14%.
that's
Holy
incredible.
shit. Yes. And yesterday, the Texas Southern game, that was not luck. That was not close, Jim.
That was easy. And I can't believe DePaul, after that dominant first half, we know that's what happens with the big lines, but they had to take a push on that game.
Got a push on that one. That was also another example of line shopping, because a lot of places had 24.5, but if you line shopped, you got 24, and Jim got a push on that one. Jim's also up 4 units in college basketball, and I told you about that one. I didn't necessarily think it was a terrible bet, but I just thought it was too many points, and actually it was funny because the site I used to check scores had the score wrong at first, and it had them winning by 23, and I was like, damn it, I can't believe I have to give Jim a loss. And then I saw 59 for the other team, and I was like, oh, he got a push. Nice. But yeah, those huge spreads, you really got to have a quality team to cover those spreads, and I'm not sure DePaul counts as that. I have not had a chance to look at any college basketball games today, but I will come back at 6 o'clock and hopefully have some more winners, or maybe I'll come back at 6 o'clock today and have a 1-5 day. Who the hell knows? Jimmy the Bag, have you looked at today's college basketball card at all?
I've taken a look at it. We have 16 games, which is feasible. Mm-hmm. We can probably hammer all these games out. There's some good looking spots, I think. And I'm looking forward to hammer them all out on the Late Show. Okay, sounds good. Let's move on to just the wrap-up. Let's wrap up all the picks. Jim, I haven't been writing them down. I'm putting them here, so just let me know if I forgot anything, right? Sure. Jim, in the NBA, Detroit -6, -105. Detroit first half -3, -105. And Atlanta +11.5, -102. That's it for the NBA. Jim, in hockey is on Buffalo over 5.5, +127. Edmonton money line +165. And the Minnesota puck line +228. And I've given just 3 picks so far. Detroit first half -3, -105 with Jim. The Chicago game in the NHL under 6, -115, and Washington -1. Jim and I, of course, will be back at 6 o'clock Eastern time, where we will go over the NBA card, go over the NHL card, add some picks to our slate, right? And of course, break down the big college basketball card, right, Jim? You looking forward to it? Looking very much forward to it.
Thanks so much for all the great comments. We'll see you at 6 o'clock Eastern time.